All right, what's up guys? Ryan from Elevate Cyber here with another video. Now, in the past, with some of the technical content that we have created on this channel, we have been showing things like security automation, which, you know, it probably sounds pretty lucrative to a lot of people, especially when they see like certain things that you can automate. And the more, it's one of those things where like the more you know about it, and the more you go down that rabbit hole, you know, the more ideas you kind of get in your head, because there's not really much limitation of what you can automate aside from like what is your skill level. I mean, especially if you look at like some of the cutting edge development being done in areas that even I am not very well versed in, like AI and stuff like that. You're seeing them constantly push the boundaries of just what you can automate, what you can do. But I'm not really here to talk about that so much in this video. I'm just going to describe, you know, how can you get started with automation, because it could seem like a pretty daunting process just to even get started in this area. But, you know, whether you're going for a certification like OSCP, or you're just trying to, you know, elevate your skill in the field of security, maybe for more job potential, or just improving yourself with your current job, right? Doing things more efficiently. One of the greatest benefits of picking up some automation as just another skill in your tool belt is that it allows you to actually free up a lot of your time, right? When you're on engagements, there's a lot of tasks that you do that are very highly repeatable. And now, when you're getting started with the basics, that's probably the most important thing that you want to look at, is what are the tasks that I'm doing on a very kind of consistent basis. Those are the type of things that you want to look to see, all right, can this be automated first off? And most likely the answer is yes. But then, you know, what sort of knowledge do I need to acquire in order to automate this? That's where you kind of reverse engineer it. You kind of work backwards, right? And that's how you can really learn things on an as needed basis, like we talk about all the time on this channel. So yeah, with that in mind, we'll just kind of get right into it. I know we're a bit into this video here. So the first thing that you want to learn is, I would say, get started with Linux and the Linux automation. I know I've done a number of videos that you guys can check out. There's an entire playlist that I have, actually, I believe, when it comes to the Linux stuff. You can find a lot of videos on there, even sort of stepping through my very elementary scripts that I wrote, the sort of quick and dirty ones that I wrote in about 5 minutes, just to automate like my Nmap scanning and stuff like that. But like I said, you could pretty much automate anything depending on how much time you're willing to put in. And now all that time that you put in is going to pay you on the back end, right? It's going to pay you in the future when you're able to just run your script instead of, you know, having to run these commands manually every single time. So I would say the first thing that you want to get started with is just automating the commands that you run all the time in Linux, or maybe you primarily work in a Windows environment. Well, in that case, it would be beneficial for you to focus a lot more effort on PowerShell and automating Windows environments rather than Bash and Linux. But ideally, you want to know at least a little bit of both, right? So no matter what scenario you're in, you can start automating your work and be a lot more efficient in that way. Once you've gotten some basic understanding and basic experience writing, you know, scripts with like Bash and or PowerShell, that's when you want to sort of graduate into a scripting language, right? Python, excellent addition to the tool belt, though it really is up to you. Don't think that you have to learn Python, but I will say it is one of the most popular languages out there, and that's with good reason. It's very easy to pick up relative to other languages. It's very easy to just pick up and start plugging away with it, and at the same time, it's a very powerful language as well. So I would say that is a great next step. The nice thing about Python is you're not limited to the platform that you're developing on, right? With something like Bash, that's only going to run in a Linux environment. PowerShell, that's going to be specific to a Windows environment. But if you can code stuff in Python, you can start writing things that will work cross-platform and also be a bit more elegant. I would say that for quick and dirty things, go ahead, write it in Bash, write it in PowerShell. But if you want to write something a little bit more, generally a little bit more professional, a little bit more sort of elegant, like I was saying, Python, definitely a good way to go. Now, with that being said, as you see, I still write a lot of things in Bash and in PowerShell all the time, but definitely you want to, at some point, at least have in your tool belt the ability to write stuff in these higher level languages like Python. Now, from there, you could honestly just master Python, get really good at it, and those are pretty much the only things that you would need to know on the automation side of the house if you wanted to. But then from there, there's, you have a number of different options if you want to go down those rabbit holes. Personally, a language that has really caught my attention just for the utility that it provides is Go. It's developed by Google, basically. Some people know it as Golang, the one with the crazy gopher as the mascot or whatever you want to say. That language has really sort of caught my attention in the last month or two, because it is a language that is, the power of it and the speed of it almost rivals that of like C and stuff like that, and Rust and languages like that. Not quite as fast if you really go into it, but it's a lot faster than Python, right? Because one of the limitations of Python, and most likely, and certainly if you're a beginner, this limitation is not going to ever come into play for you. But when it comes to writing like really large scale applications that you need to be able to multi-thread to run really quick operations, quick calculations over a large data set, one of the limitations of Python is that the interpreter, while it does have multi-threading, the multi-threading does not actually speed up the execution, because the Python interpreter, which is what runs the Python code, it only processes one thing at a time. So it's not able to run like subroutines all at the same time in a way that a language like C or C++ can, right? Well, Go is able to actually do that because it is a compiled language as opposed to a interpreted language like Python. And so, but at the same time, the syntax is very simple, and it's very easy to pick up and learn. Now, not quite as easy to pick up as Python, I must admit, but a lot easier to pick up than something like C or C++, right? Or even Rust. Rust is actually pretty difficult to pick up as well. So that's like one of the reasons, because I plan on actually doing a lot of bug bounties in 2021, and I want to write automation tooling that's going to check on a lot of different applications, look for changes and things like that, and it's going to be working with a large data set. Of course, programming things in a very efficient way. Like, you could be using the most efficient language if you're not coding using smart algorithms. You're just coding things in ways that are inefficient. Well, that's not really going to help you, right? But yeah, just one thing I had on my radar I wanted to share with you guys. So yeah, I hope this video was of help to you guys. Let me know if you think I missed anything, or you have any input on the whole automation side. Definitely an interesting topic, in my opinion, and I think that it's a skill set as a hacker that doesn't get talked about enough, but it's very important, and the more that you know with it, the better you will be. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, helps me out with the algorithms, and I will see you guys in the next video.